Hello everyone and welcome back to the course. In this lesson we will be creating our first project. So let's go ahead and come over here and you can either go File, New, or you can just simply click this button here and this will create our first project. So now we have some stuff popping up in um, the workspace area. We have some stuff popping up in our workspace toolbar, and now we can kind of go over those. So this is going to be our storyboard editor, and here you'll see a list of all the available frames that we've created. So this will be every single level, the title screen, credits, um, basically any screen that we create in the game will be accessible here, and we can simply click it to go to it. But for now, I want to pay a little bit more attention here to our workspace toolbar. Here you can see our application and the frame. This is going to be this frame here. And when we click on one, you can see all the different properties that we have available. So we have our basic settings here. We have our runtime options. And finally, we have a little about section where we can put in a little detail to ourselves, basically saying what this frame is about. So what we're going to do first is click our application and we're going to rename it. I'm just going to call it my first game, if I can spell here. There we go. I'll leave the icon the standard one for now. We can go through how to change that later. I'm not going to worry about a help file. The author and copyright information, you can enter whatever you'd like there. But as of now, I'm just going to skip that and go over to our window options. And where it says size, I'm going to click here in the little drop down arrow, and I'm just going to select 1280 by 720 for our resolution. Click off of it, and it's going to say, would you like to modify the size of the frames that have the same size as the application window? And we're just going to hit yes. This will automatically change our frame sizes to 1280 by 720. We're going to scroll down here. I'm just going to remove the menu bar, and we'll worry a little bit more about this later. Let's go ahead and go to the runtime options. Leave the frame rate at 60. I'm going to turn on VSync because I don't want it to be screen tearing at all. And okay, now that that is all set, what we can do is just click the number 1 option here for our frame, and this is going to bring up our frame editor. Now you probably don't have this grid set on, but I will show you how to set it if you'd like. It allows you to easily place your objects and measure where you're placing them. For me, I use it constantly. I don't ever turn it off. But if you'd like to, what you can do is show the grid here. And in this option, you can select Snap to Grid. And what Snap to Grid does is it allows you to move your options and it'll snap to one of these grid places. If you need to set up your grid, if you want it to look like mine, all you do is click the first option here. I set the origin to 0, 0, the size and the width to 32 by 32, and the color I set to red. And then I just hit OK. And now what we're going to do is create our first object, which is going to be our player. So in order to do that, you just double click, and what we're going to select is an active object. So an active object is basically what you want to assign for most objects. This is going to be for your players, your enemies, um, if you have bullets, um, coins to collect. This is going to be what you're going to be selecting. Uh, I know it doesn't explain a whole lot of what it is, but if you do want to learn more about it, what you can do, or actually we'll hit OK first, and we'll just pop it down here. You can go to Help, and then what you can do is go to Contents, and just search um, active. This will bring up a large dialog. So what we're going to do is actually do active object and click the second option, and this will give you more detail as to what the active object does. We could go through this together, but I'm not going to go ahead and do that because we're going to learn by doing instead of just by reading the help file. Once we have our active selected here, you can see it brought it up to here. This is going to be a list of all our objects in the game. And what we're going to do is select it and hit F2, or you can right click and select rename. And I'm just going to call this OBJ player. Okay. And now with our object player, let's go ahead and double click on it. And this is going to bring up our image editor. And what I'm going to do is select open or import. And here what you're going to want to do is go into the files that I provided in the course. And what we're going to do is just select our player idle and hit open. Everything is going to be fine as it is. So we're just going to hit OK. And now this brings up our sprite for our object. So now, actually, before we go more in depth with this, I'm just going to hit OK. That's fine. And now that's pretty much it. Next, what we're going to be doing is actually giving some life to our character, moving him left and right, and getting him jumping around. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next lesson.